Good evening, everyone. Welcome back inside our Home Field Credit Union Studio B as we bring you our first summer edition of the Milford Informer. I am your host, Tim Coette. Now that the kids are out of school and the warm weather is upon us, we hope everyone is getting a chance to enjoy some time relaxing and soaking up the sun. Tonight we'll get you updated on the latest happenings in Milford from the last 2 weeks. Let's begin by showing you tonight's top stories rundown. Tonight, learn all the details about the upcoming Milford 4th of July parade and find out how you can still sign up to be part of this new tradition. Also tonight, we'll share the latest on the recent decision by the Milford Board of Selectmen to remove the chairman of the Milford Personnel Board. And later in sports, we will provide a comprehensive recap of the first 2 weeks in Milford Legion Baseball, including highlight footage from each of Post 59's home games. The town of Milford is about to launch a brand new summer tradition with its first annual 4th of July parade. Two of the driving forces behind putting this parade together have been MyFM's Ray Osier and the current school committee chair, Joe Callery. We were happy to have Ray Osier join us in studio to discuss how things are coming together ahead of the big event. And we are happy to be joined on the Milford Informer this week, a man who truly needs no introduction here in Milford. It is Ray Osier in the house this week. Ray, first of all, thank you so much for being here.
No, please, thank you for having me.
So a really exciting event. So happy to have you on to talk about it. A new tradition. I love the way that you put it, that you're starting here in Milford this year. The first annual Milford 4th of July parade. I want to take you back to the beginning of this, first of all. When did you first get the idea to kind of put the wheels in motion for this thing?
Let's see. It may have been like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. My friend Rob DeDominic and myself were talking about maybe giving some money to make the firework display a little bigger. And then we realized, you know what, the town has money for that. They're doing a great job anyway. So it kind of went away, and my first thought was, how about a parade? I grew up in East Brookfield. We had a parade every year. They still do. And it was, you know, one of the highlights of my childhood was that parade. And I know they did one on the bicentennial, but that was it. And I thought, let's put together a parade. That was 2 years ago, and it kept, every year went by, and I'm like, yeah, we'll do it next year, we'll do it next year. And then Joey Callery kind of gave me a push, and together we formed a committee of, I think there's 7 of us, and we went at it. And it was just a matter of sitting down and saying, we're doing it, get the committee together, and from that point on, it was all gung-ho, and now we're ready to go. We have a couple weeks, less than 2 weeks, but we're ready to go.
And as the word has slowly but steadily gotten out about this, you know, really for the last several months, what's the initial reaction you've heard from the community?
I think everybody wants to go.
Yeah.
I think everybody is curious to see how the first one's going to go first. A lot of people are going away. It's 4th of July. It's on the 4th. That was a decision we made because we're celebrating the 4th of July. Let's do it on the 4th. So we noticed a lot of people were going away, a lot of businesses that we would like to see in the parade. But, you know, a lot of people are excited to see what happens. So next year should be even bigger. But we're doing pretty good so far.
Well, that's great. I know we're definitely excited for it as well. We'll have some coverage here on our end. So, I mean, you said it right there. So it is actually happening right on the 4th of July. It'll kick off at 10 a.m. And the typical route that Milford fans always expect for a local parade.
I'll tell you, the fire department does such a great job with the Santa Parade, and that was another inspiration for this. So we decided, let's do it just like the firefighters do. And we're going to start down at the grocery store and head right up to Draper Park, same route. And then halfway, well, maybe not halfway through, but we have a kids' bike parade that's going to join us from the Milford Youth Center. So they'll pull out at some point, and we'll have that as a feature in the parade.
And I know a lot of great sponsors have jumped on board along the way to make this possible.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do it without them. Obviously, everything takes money to pull off. So we have a lot of great sponsors involved, and you can find those on the Facebook page. And through the Facebook page, you can get to the website. It's a long URL, so you can find it there. And please thank all of our sponsors if you see them out and about. We'd sure appreciate you supporting them. But yeah, lots of sponsors, lots of donations, and really just getting people involved is what we needed. There's no fee to enter the parade. You have to sign up. We prefer to be able to set it up so that when they get down there, everyone's lined up, everyone has a number, and we can make it nice and easy for everybody. So we do ask everyone to sign up first, and that can be found on the Facebook page as well.
And that's a great way to go about it. And so there's a lot of great resources online. The easiest way for you to start to learn more about the parade is to simply go on Facebook, search Milford 4th of July Parade. You'll find the page right there, and that will take you to all of the various resources to find out how to get involved. And there is still time if you're out there and you're thinking, maybe I'd like to march, maybe I'd like to put a float together. There's still plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, we're still taking entries right up till Sunday the 1st, where we're going to have a meeting with everyone that joined up, just an informational meeting. But we're looking for businesses, of course, and you see those in the parades, and organizations. But you know what we really want? We want groups of friends, families, neighbors, just getting together and putting a float together in their garage, or grabbing the tractor and throwing a trailer on the back and pulling some kids around. That's all. That's what we really want. We want to see the community get involved, and again, not just businesses and organizations, which are great, but we want to see more people, just people walking, dressing up, celebrating America.
Well, and I saw a fantastic idea that was posted on the Facebook page showing kids driving around in little Hot Wheels decked out in red, white, and blue. Could be something as simple as that, just to bring a little bit more color and fun to the parade.
I think a lot of people are thinking, well, I'm not part of a business or organization. I don't have the means to do this. You do. Just think about it. And ask us, too. Message the page, say, I want to get involved. I don't know what to do. We have enough creative people on the committee that can help give you ideas. But we really want this to be a big event year after year after year.
And already it's going to be a pretty big event coming up in just a couple of short weeks. You're going to have Brian Murray and Ryan Fatman as part of the parade. One float is going to be playing some live country music, I noticed on there. You're going to have a couple of
Shannon Jackman,
of the New England Patriots cheerleaders are going to be part of the parade. So already a lot of great stuff is already lined up here still with several weeks to go.
We have a small brass band. We have some stilt walkers and hula hoopers. And anyone else who can think of some fantastic ideas. Wow us. We also have trophies. We're giving away trophies, 5 trophies. One's going to be, this is cool, one's going to be like the Stanley Cup of parade trophies. So you'll have your name on it. You get to take it for a year. Then you have to give it back. And then someone else, or if they can top last year, they would take the trophy back. And everyone that wins a trophy is going to win a $100 gift card at Peppercini's. So there's some incentive there to get involved, get creative. Some of the categories are most patriotic, creative, spirit, best use of music, and then the overall, which is the grand finale. That's going to be the Stanley Cup.
Well, that's outstanding. So many great reasons to participate. So again, all the way up until July 1st. So if you're out there, if you're still thinking about it, if you want to take part, it's really easy. A lot of different ways that you can march in the parade, get creative, be a part of what's going to be the first of what we hope is going to be a long-standing tradition here in Milford. And it's really something that has become apparent here lately, Ray, that people here in the community are so excited when these new traditions get formed. It's been so great to see how Celebrate Milford has just continued to blossom every year. There's a ton of excitement in this town. Everybody wants to get out and be a part of things. So to see another new tradition pop up, I'm sure years from now we are going to see this become just a fantastic event here in town.
I hope so. We hope to piggyback on it, and maybe at the end of the parade in a few years, we have a downtown festival. I want to say to the negative people out there that there's a lot of people in town that are doing great things. Like you said, Celebrate Milford, the Portuguese Picnic, that's been around for a long time. But we are starting new traditions that we want to grow into bigger traditions. And I think after a few years, people are going to see that they can't complain too much anymore about the town.
Well, again, if you want more information or if you do want to get involved in the 4th of July parade, you can send an email to Milford 4th of July Parade at gmail.com to contact the committee. And again, just hop on Facebook, search Milford 4th of July Parade to get to all of the information that's already up there online. And again, get ready to enjoy what's going to be an absolutely fantastic 4th of July celebration coming up at 10 a.m. on the 4th of July. Typical parade route here in Milford. Show up with your lawn chairs if you just want to check things out. But again, we encourage everybody to take part in it as well. Right? Yeah. It should be a great time. And again, kudos to you for once again just a terrific idea. And again, the dedication that you have here in the community and continuing to reach out and find new ways to get active and get other people active here in this town is really something that you should be applauded for.
Thank you. Well, I have a great committee too that I'm working with, and Joey Callery is the chair of the committee. So I want to shout out to Joey. But thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a great community. We love it here, and we just want it to be better. We have kids that are growing up in the community, so we're just trying to make it better for them.
Absolutely. So we really look forward to it. We'll have some coverage here on Milford TV as well. You'll see Executive Director Rob O'Keefe running around the parade route. I'm sure we'll have full footage here on the Milford Informer in weeks to come. And MyFM will have coverage of it as well. So a great day. We're really looking forward to it. The 4th of July parade coming up on July 4th at 10 a.m. here in Milford. Ray Osier, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, as always, Tim. Thank you.
At this week's Board of Selectmen meeting, the board made several decisions regarding appointments and reappointments to various town boards. During this discussion, Selectman Bill Buckley made a motion regarding one of the members of the Personnel Board that has become a source of debate around town. Let's listen into the discussion amongst the Board of Selectmen.
I've come to learn that resident Dennis Carroll moved and resides in Mendon. Is confirmed. That was confirmed by a member of the media and others. The town has a history and a tradition of resident preference, as we just saw both by the police department, and another example of that is our legislative body town meeting has a rule that only residents are allowed to speak unless unanimous consent by the body. So I would move that the Board of Selectmen unappoint Mr. Carroll, thank him for his years of service, invite him to apply for consideration should he move back to the town of Milford.
The concern that I have is that, and I have no proof of what you're talking about, Bill, and I don't doubt it. The concern that I have is that we're appointing so many new members to the committee. Where is the experience level?
Hopefully the HR person, we're gonna, through Rick, we're gonna mandate that they have a relationship with the personnel board. It is a lot of new members, but again, Teresa is on there. James, I still want there, an alternate as an advisory role. But again, one of the members that we just appointed tonight was former chairman of the school committee, which is responsible for our biggest budget, biggest policies in town and everything else. So I'm quite confident, considering we've all done that role. We know what it takes.
Yeah.
I'm not at all concerned, but I do think we need to just be very cut and dry. If we're going to be appointing people to town boards and committees, they should in fact be Milford residents.
I'm sorry, I can't vote in favor of that because I don't have all the facts. And I think that we need experience there right now. I don't think the timing is good, so
Sure.
I cannot vote in favor of that.
So ultimately, despite the concerns raised by Selectman Mike Walsh, the motion to remove Mr. Carroll from the Personnel Board was carried by a 2-to-1 vote. In the days following the decision, Mr. Carroll voiced his disagreement, saying he felt the motion was, quote, illegal. Mr. Carroll went on to say that while he does stay part-time in a residence in Mendon, his permanent address remains in Milford, a claim that is supported by current voter registration records. We will keep you updated should any new details emerge on this story in the coming weeks. Now let's get to This Week in Sports. We are already in the thick of the 2018 Legion regular season. It took a little while to get started thanks to the MIAA playoffs, but as we stand here today, Post 59 has now played half of their regular season schedule. Milford TV has been on hand at Pheno for every home game so far, so let's take you all the way back to the beginning and show you how this season has progressed so far for Post 59. We begin all the way back on June 15th. After enjoying a victory in their 2018 season debut, Milford came home to Pheno to take on Northborough Post 234 in their home opener. Hopedale native Jonathan Rice would get the start for Post 59, and he would struggle early against a tough Northborough lineup. Northborough would send 6 batters to the plate against Rice, collecting RBI singles from Dylan Connors and Jack Choate to take an early 2-0 lead after 1. In the bottom of the first, Milford would see their first 2 batters reach in the inning, setting the table for recent Milford High grad Aiden Wild. Here's the first pitch into Wild, and it's hit hard in the air out to center field. Racing back is Kadri. That's over his head. And 2 runs will come home to score for Milford. Here's Rebello crossing home plate. Ambrosoni right behind. Aiden Wild's going to get waved around third base. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be close. Wild slides in and he's safe with a 3-run inside the park home run that immediately gives Milford the lead at 3-2. Early on in this game, the lead would seesaw back and forth through each half inning. With Milford trailing 6-5 in the third, they would load the bases with one out, giving Aiden Wild another chance to cash in at the plate. Here's another 1-2 pitch, and Wild sends it down the third base line. This time it's a fair ball. It will roll all the way down into the corner. Brunt comes around to score. Here's Rebello around from third base. They'll wave Ambrosoni to the plate. He will score as Aiden Wild clears the bases with a 3-run double. And that will allow Post 59 to take an 8-6 lead. As the game went on, Milford would benefit from some sloppy Northborough defense to put the game out of reach. They would follow up a 4-run third with a 7-run fourth inning. Matt Shaver would close out the scoring with an RBI single that would establish an even 10-run lead for Post 59. In the end, Milford needed just 5 innings to defeat Northborough by a final score of 16-6. After Milford enjoyed a second Mercy Rule victory in a road matchup versus Sturbridge on June 16th, the team was back at Pheno on the 18th, where they matched up with Maine South Post 341. The red-hot Milford offense came into the game having scored 42 runs in their first 3 games, and that offensive firepower would once again be on display in the early innings. Swings at the first pitch and sends it out to right field towards the line and beyond the reach of the right fielder. That's going to roll off towards the corner, and 2 runs will come in to score as Shaver and Wild both cross the plate. Alex Reynolds stops at second base, a 2-run double as Reynolds' hot hitting continues. And the payoff to Aiden Wild is flared out to right field. That's trouble for Maine South, down for a base hit. They will wave the runner around from second base. Here comes the throw to the plate. It won't be in time as Matt Shaver comes around to score. Runners lead off of first and second base as Beater rips it out into left field. That's down for a hit. They will wave Reynolds around third base. The throw in towards the plate is going to be offline and now tick off the catcher's glove. Onto third base now safely is Tyler Almeida as Milford continues to keep the pressure on the base path. Milford would score 9 runs over the first 2 frames to seize control early. On the pitching side, Milford would get a solid outing out of Nipmuc student Jack Tempesta. Jack would hold the Maine South offense to just 2 runs over 4 innings of work. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Hopedale's Sam Parker would contribute with an RBI double as part of a 3-run inning that would ultimately give Post 59 a 13-run lead. Parker would then enter the game on the pitcher's mound, and he would strike out the side as part of a scoreless top of the 5th. Make it 3 straight Mercy Rule wins for Milford as they top Maine South by a final of 15-2. Over their first 4 games of the season, Milford was able to drive in first-inning runs in each contest, immediately putting the pressure on their opponents. The same would prove to be true as Post 59 hosted Cherry Valley Post 443 at Pheno on June 19th. Cologne ready with the payoff pitch, and it's a liner back up the middle. That is down for a base hit. Around to score comes Shaver. Here is Wild from second base. He will cross the plate, and Reynolds does it again. He cleans up with men on base and allows Milford to take a 2-0 lead. Cologne's pitch sent in the air out to center field. Freezing at first was Shoemaker, now traveling back, and the ball's going to get over his head. They will wave Alex Reynolds around all the way from first base. Here comes the relay throw. Instead, the shortstop will hold on to it. No throw through to the plate on what turns into a gift double for Tyler Almeida. But Cherry Valley would not let that Milford lead last for long. With 2 outs in the top of the 2nd inning, Milford starter Tim Kenny would walk the bases loaded and would then issue ball 4 to Cherry Valley's Aiden Gilman to bring in a run to the plate. After a 2nd run scored on a botched play on the infield, Nate Shoemaker would maximize the damage in the inning with a 2-run single, and just like that, Cherry Valley would storm back to take a 4-3 lead. Post 443 would tack on to the lead in the 4th inning, scoring 2 more times to open up a 3-run advantage. That would be the score entering into the bottom of the 7th inning, where Milford would attempt to mount a late-game comeback. Chris Brunt would drive in a run on a fielder's choice play, and a 2nd run would cross the plate on an error at short, pulling Milford to within a run with the tying run at 3rd. But Cherry Valley would get Matt Shaver on a groundout, and the comeback bid would fall just short. Milford sees their 4-game winning streak snapped as they lose to Cherry Valley by a final score of 6-5. Post 59 would follow up that Cherry Valley loss with an even more frustrating defeat at the hands of Shrewsbury on Wednesday, June 20th. Despite Milford having the lead for the majority of the game, last year's Northeast Regional champs would tie the game in the 7th and would fight back from 2 runs down in the bottom of the 10th to defeat Milford by a final score of 7-6. After that, Milford hoped to bounce back on June 22nd with a home date against Grafton Hill post 323. This time it would be the visitors who would take advantage of some early offense. Post 323 would produce 3 hits against Milford starter Jack Tempesta, with this hit out to right driving in a pair of runs to give Grafton Hill a 2-0 lead. Believe it or not, that was more than enough offense for Grafton Hill on the night, as they sent top arm Brendan Desautel to the hill. The righty was brilliant, limiting Milford to just 4 hits on the night. He would strike out 6 Milford hitters in a dominant 7 innings of work. The Grafton Hill bats would add on some insurance in the 3rd, 5th, and 6th innings, and they would go on to defeat Milford by a final score of 6-0.
It was quite an up and down start to the season. A 4-game winning streak gave way to 3 consecutive losses, sending Milford tumbling down from the top spot in the Zone 4 standings. The team was able to stabilize things over the course of last weekend, taking on Eastside and Framingham on the road. Post 59 bats broke out in the middle innings against Eastside, and Alex Gunfriday shined, delivering a complete game 3-hit shutout, leading the way to a 7-0 victory over Post 201. Pitching would be on display again on Sunday with Hopkinton's Tommy Leone on the hill for Milford against Framingham's Joe Mezcal. The two would allow just a single run apiece through the regulation 7 innings. It would stay tied all the way until the 9th, when Framingham would finally go to their bullpen for the first time with 2 outs and the bases empty. Milford would send up a pinch hitter in Tyler Almeida against the new Framingham arm, and Almeida would come through with a solo home run to give Milford the lead. Alex Reynolds would come in to pitch a scoreless bottom half of the 9th to pick up the save in a well-played 2-1 win for Post 59. From there, Milford was set to play a doubleheader with Wachusett Post 42 on Monday, June 25th. However, complications arose just hours before first pitch, resulting in no games being played. So after a successful weekend followed by an impromptu off day, Milford would head into Tuesday night set to face off against Leominster Post 151. Leominster came into the matchup with a veteran-heavy roster and the best record in Zone 4. Let's take a look at how things went down at Fino between these two rivals.
With the forfeited game against Wachusett technically giving Milford a 3-game winning streak, they hoped to make it 4 in a row as they welcomed in Leominster Post 151 on Tuesday. After starting the season late due to the MIAA playoffs, Leominster was able to rattle off 7 straight wins to open the season, surging them into first place. Thanks to poor defense on the Milford side, Leominster was able to surge into the lead quickly in this game. After starter Jonathan Rice struck out the first batter of the inning, Leominster's Sage Bray would send a routine grounder to short, but Chris Brunt would see the ball come loose from his glove, allowing the runner to reach. That runner would eventually score as Leominster would load the bases on 2 hits and a walk. Andrew Harrington would then send a hard-hit ball through the left side of the infield for a hit. Jacob Beater would then try to rush the play out and left, but the ball would end up sneaking under his glove. That would give all 3 base runners a chance to come home. Harrington would eventually be thrown out trying to advance to third, but the damage was done in the inning as Leominster would take a 4-0 lead. Through the early innings, it looked like that would be all the offense Post 151 would need. Their starting pitcher Lowell Pare was on his game through the first several innings. He'd strike out 4 hitters the first time through the Milford lineup. Then in the 4th inning, after Milford collected a hit and a walk with 2 outs, Pare would induce a flyout off the bat of Alex Reynolds to end the threat. Aiden Wild would then lead off the bottom of the 4th with a single, but Pare would retire the next 3 hitters and Milford would again fail to produce any offense. Finally, Milford would catch a break to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Jacob Beater would open the inning with a grounder to short, but this time it was the Leominster shortstop who would commit the error, allowing the leadoff man to reach base. Chris Brunt would then single, and Sean Rabello would be hit by a pitch to give Milford a bases-loaded, no-out chance.
All right, back to the set. Here's the payoff pitch, and it misses for ball 4. A narrow miss off the outside part of the plate, and Lowell Pare walks in the run. Wild settles the bat over the shoulder. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it misses inside for ball 4.
The second bases loaded walk of the inning. Pare to the set. Here is the 3-2 pitch, and it's taken low for ball 4. Pare walks in his 3rd run of the inning, and it is now a 1-run ball game. Pare ahead 0-2. Here's his next pitch, and Almeida will send it on the ground to first base. Gallagher will go to second, but his throw is offline. It's going to drift out towards the edge of the infield dirt. 2 runs will come home to score for post 59. Now an errant throw to third base. And down to second base goes Almeida. The ball rolls off the playing surface, so they will award the plate to Sam Parker. 3 runs will score for Milford, as Almeida will be sent to third base. And what a flip of the script in this bottom of the 5th inning. Helped along by 3 bases loaded walks and 2 throwing errors, Milford would end up scoring 7 times on the benefit of just 2 hits in the 5th inning, turning a 4-0 deficit into a 7-4 lead. Meanwhile, Jonathan Rice would settle down nicely into his outing on the mound. After that rocky first inning, Rice would allow just 1 hit from the 2nd inning to the 6th. After a scoreless 3rd of an inning from Tim Kenny, Sam Parker would head out for the 7th, looking to nail down the save. Parker would collect a strikeout en route to a 1-2-3 inning to finish off a wild night at Pheno. Milford comes from behind to defeat Leominster by a final score of 7-4, handing Post 151 their first loss of the season. A big come-from-behind victory for Post 59 against the top team in the zone. Milford had to quickly refocus, however, as they set out on a 4-game road trip, which started in Worcester on Wednesday, with the team's 2nd meeting of the season with Grafton Hill. Once again, Post 323 would feature solid pitching. Starter Jack Steele would deliver 4 innings of no-hit baseball out of the gates. Trailing 3-0 in the 5th, Milford would finally get on the scoreboard, scoring a pair of runs, but Milford would leave the tying run at 3rd in the inning, and they would leave the bases loaded in the 6th. They would then have the tying and go-ahead runs on base against reliever Ethan Texera in the 7th, but again Milford would be unable to cash in, and they would go on to lose to Grafton Hill by a final of 3-2. Quickly now, let's take a look at the latest Zone 4 standings. As you can see, despite that loss to Milford, Leominster continues to lead the way in the zone. Grafton Hill surged into 2nd place after their win over Milford on Wednesday, with the reigning Northeast Regional champs Shrewsbury dropping to 3rd place after they suffered back-to-back defeats earlier in the week. Then it's Milford Post 59 rounding out the top 4 in the zone with their record of 8-4. With the top 8 teams in the zone advancing to the playoffs, that means Northborough, Cherry Valley, Framingham, and Northbridge all find themselves within the playoff picture here at the unofficial halfway point of the season. There is still much more to be decided over the next 2 weeks, so make sure you tune in to our next edition of the Milford Informer on July 13th for your next Legion Baseball update. And remember, you can join me over on MyFM 101.3 to hear every Milford Post 59 game live. You can also check out the Milford TV educational channel as well as our YouTube page to see coverage of select home games throughout the season. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this summer edition of the Milford Informer. We will return with our next summer edition on Friday, July 13th. Everyone have a fun and safe 4th of July holiday. And from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coette saying have a great week. So long, everybody.